Okay, for those of you listening, thank you for taking the time. Write down the 5 words to show me that you were listening. So we're solving a system. This is a system of equations, a system. So here we go. That one in red, where it's touching the y-axis, that's going to be my y-intercept number. Because remember, I'm trying to find y equals mx plus b. And that number right there is my y-intercept number for that red one here. So that one in red, I have y equals, that x is going to be there, and then I have plus 1. Now to find this number right here, I connect any 2 dots on that red line, and I do little slope triangles. I count how many boxes I'm going over to the right, and then how many boxes I'm going up. That put together gives me that red line's slope, which is 1. That number goes right here. So that's the equation for the one in red. First word is chicken. The one in blue, doing that one, here's my y-intercept number right there for the blue number. That's where I'm getting this number right here. And then I just got to write the rest. So I got y equals, I'm going to have some number here in front of x. And then I have minus 1. And now to find this number right here again, I'm connecting 2 dots on this blue line. Any 2 spots on this line that clearly cross a grid, that's where I'm counting my boxes. So for this one, I'm counting right 1, up 1, 2, 3, up 3 for that one. Right 1, up 3 for that one. So this one has a slope of 3 over 1. And of course, that divides into just plain old 3. That number is going to go right here. That is my blue equation. Now I'm doing a double check. So I'm looking at, with my eyeball, what that coordinate is. And I'm writing that coordinate as a true x and y coordinate. Remember, that's always an xy coordinate. And if I look, I'm going over 1, up 2, right 1, up 2. That is my solution point. That's the solution. So what I'm going to have you do is take that solution point, and I got to plug that x and y into both of them, not just that one, but also got to plug into this one right here. I got to do what's called a double check. So let's get rid of all this. And let's plug them in. Here we go, the one in red. Doing that one, I got 2 for y. I got my equal, just one in red. Right here I have my 1 right there. Oh, let's go back. Let's do that like this. I got 2 equals, and then right here I'm going to plug my 1, and I have that plus 1, and that gives me 2 equals 2. That is a true statement. Then take that and plug it into the second one. I got my 2 right here, my equal, I got my 3, and where there's an x, that's where I plug in that number 1 right there. Minus 1, and that gives me 2 equals 3 minus 1, 2 equals 2. That's my double check. All right, here we go, next problem. This guy again, looking at my 1 in red, this one right here is my y-intercept number. So when I'm writing y equals mx plus b, for that red one, that negative 1 right there is going to be my y-intercept number right there. So when I'm writing this little equation right here, let's write that back. I have y equals some number for x. I haven't found that number yet right there, but it's going to be x minus 1. And now to find this number right here, connect any two dots on that line, any two spots you see on that line where you got nice clear grid points. And I can see for that red one, I'm going right 1, up 2, right 1, up 2. If I write that as slope, right 1 over 2, that gives me a whole number of 2. That's my slope number. That's this number right here. All right, for my blue one here, blue one, I'm looking at this point right here. That is my y-intercept number. That's where I'm getting that number right there. So when I write the rest, I have y equals, I got x, I got that plus 3. And now to find this number right here, I connect any two dots on that line. And I'm looking at this one here, maybe this one. I'm going right 1, but then going down 2. Hopefully you can see that. On any point on here, going right 1, but then going down 2. That is a slope of negative 2 over 1. And that, of course, ends up being just plain old negative 2. All right, now I take a look at this point right here, and I write that as a xy coordinate. That's right 1, up 1. I'm going to do my double check. I'm going to plug this and this into both places. Here I go. Let's show that. So that first one in red, I got 1 equals 2. Plug in that 1 right there. Minus 1, that gives me 1 equals 2 minus 1. That is true. Plug that 1 into the second one. 1. Got that negative 2 right there. In that X spot, plug 1. And that gives me 1, negative 2. And that gives me 1 equals 1. That is true. All right, let's move on. Next one. This one, the one in red, here I go. Negative 1. To find this number right here, connect any two dots on that line. Looks like I'm going right 1, up 3. And that for that red one, that gives me a slope of 3. The one in blue, here I go. Now to find this number again, connect any two dots on this line. And then do your slope triangle. This one looks like I'm going right 1, up 1. Double check, here I go. That is over 1, up 2. Plug them in, here I go. Next word is duck. Thanks for listening. That is true. Plug it into that next one. And then, of course, I could see there's my mistake I was trying to find. I have no idea how I got that to be 3 right there, so don't make that mistake. That's 1 right there. All right, so back to this. With that in the right place there, I got that 1, and then I could plug in that 1 right here. And that should give me a true statement. And again, I could see when I was doing my check, I caught my mistake right there. All right, next word is quail. Thanks for listening. All right, let's move on. Next problem. This red one, here I go. To find that next point, maybe you go from here to here. Looks like I'm going right 1, down 2. That gives me, for my red slope, -2. For my blue one right here, that's -3. And then again, to find this number right here, connect any 2 points on that line. Looks like I'm going right 1, up 1. And I won't make that next mistake again. That is 1 right there. All right, now taking this point a little bit harder, that coordinate is the point 2, -1. Plugging that in. So here I go. Let's do that first one. Where y is, plug in -1. Where x is, plug in 2. And if you do your math right, this should give you a true statement. All right, when I plug in that next one here, plugging in -1 for that y. That x, I'm plugging in 2. And that should work. That gives me another true statement. All right, moving on. This one in red, here I go. One in red, starting at 3. The slope of this one in red, looks like I'm going right 1, but then going down 1. So again, that right 1, down 1 gives me a slope of -1. Or sometimes we'll just write that as -x, just like that. All right, this one right here, that's a 5er. All I need to find this last number right here again is connect a couple dots on that line. Any 2 dots on that line. And I can see that is a slope of 1 again. All right, now taking this coordinate right here, that is the coordinate left 1, up 4. So I'm going to plug that in. Here I go. Where that y is, I plug in a 4. And then I got equal. Got that negative. Where that x is, I plug in -1. That's a tricky one. Got that +3. That gives me 4 equal +1. Gives me 4 equals 4. All right, checking that next one. For that y, plug in 4. For that x, plug in -1. And then again, with your brain or using your calculator, that is true. Next word is swan. Thanks for listening. All right, I believe this is the next to last one. Let me go. Here we go. This one in red, 2. The slope of this line in red, Looks like I'm going over 1, up 2. That gives me a slope of 2. The one in blue, -4 down here. To find that slope number again, this number right here, connect any 2 points on that line. So here you go, let's rewrite that. So connecting any 2 points on that line looks like every time I'm going over 1, I'm going down 1. So you write that -1, or we just usually write that negative like that. All right, this point right here, careful, that is the point -2, -2. Label that. Plug it in where that first y is here. Again, what I'm doing, I'm plugging these into these x spots to show you again. And you got to do both. So here we go. First one, -2. Whoops. Equals 2. Plug in that x number. Plus 2. That gives me -2 equals -4. And that is true. Plug that into the second one. And I believe that was the last one. Thank you for listening. The last word is crow. Crow.